Prepper. And guys, in this video today, happy Sabbath to all those keeping the Father's lunisolar scriptural biblical calendar. And as promised, I am going to go over something that I found in my studies recently about that, many people feel like in the last days that the mark of the beast is just going to be absolutely unanimous across the board. But I found something in Scripture that makes me believe that, for those of us that's not going to take vaccines and marks in their hand and worship the Pope in Rome and keep his false calendar in our foreheads and stuff like that, that there is still some wiggle room for those of us in the last day, I really believe. And with that, I want to share this with you. Now, a lot of times I will say, this is how it is. And I will show you X, Y, and Z. What I'm showing you today is what I would refer to as a possibility. And so with that said, if you want to look at this, now I'm using the Aunt Sophia Bible today, and I'm also using the Strong's Concordance. This is the copy that I've had for, I don't know, going on 2 decades now probably. That's the copy. And this is the exhaustive concordance right there. I don't know what edition this thing is, but anyway, Strong's Concordance. Now, I want to read the scripture first, and the scripture that we're looking at is in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And it says, "And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man," and the word we're looking at today is might, "buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." Guys, you can see I'm going to get a little more comfortable in this chair. So the thing is, as I've looked at this again and again, and I've went back over this, is that if you look up that word, if you have eSword, like I have eSword, I keep on my phone, but you can also get it on your computer as well. If you look at eSword, because it's got the Strong's Concordance in the KJV one, if you pull it up, it's Dunama, and it's 1410 is the number in the Greek. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh man, good thing I didn't do that out in town. Somebody would have hauled me off for Rona. Anyway, it says here that the word dunama, of uncertain affinity, to be able or possible, be able can do plus negative, plus or not, to do or do not, could, may, might, be, possible, be a power. Now, I want to present to you what I've been looking at that in context of reading the word, is as you read through that and you look at it, that no man might buy nor sell save he that has the mark. I want you to back up and look at this past year. As I said in a previous video, kind of leading up to this one, is that in this past year, if I needed materials for a job, I just had them drop it off and leave the company. If I needed food, I just had a food delivery person deliver it, or Uber Eats bring me a meal. I found workarounds in so many different areas. Bartering with people, silver, you name it. There was just a lot of different workarounds I figured out, and I'm not saying that to be like, ooh, look at me. It got me thinking whenever I ran across this in the studies, is because that as we are right now in your situation, like, I don't want to wear a mask, right? I'm one of those people too. I just have no interest in wearing a mask. If you're sick, hey, give it to me. So go ahead and get herd immunity and get over it. Okay, well, you can't cross the threshold of the door to go into a place to do business without having a mask on. All right, well, let's run a scenario. Say you have a land, and there's this lawyer that's doing this now. I don't have to give more information on at another time, but like, if your land is converted into a trust, then it's non-taxable, non-seizable, all the stuff from what I understand. You can't have income tax against it, and so therefore you're not losing your property, right? Because it's in a trust. Well, if I don't convert that to a trust, say down at the tax office, a couple years expire by, and I've paid up my taxes in advance, and they say, Luke, you got to come down here and pay your taxes. But if you don't have that vaccine, and you don't have that vaccine card, you can't come in here and pay. So it's not that I can't buy and sell or do things. I've got to be smart and meticulous moving forward from this point forward, how I do it. So just like I said, how to deal with it right there about the land tax. All right, moving forward, I can't fly somewhere. Can I drive and take a boat? Can I drive to the place totally? Because like I think it was in the Wuhan province, I watched a video where somebody was trying to leave, and the police just checked their temperature, took them out right there, and hauled them off. Another example is like, we got to understand that the deception that's going on. I can't think of that girl's name. It's making rounds on TikTok right now, and I'll do another video about this coming up too. There's just too much happening. I'm finally settling my new house so I can go over all this. Is that the lady took the vaccine. As she's giving an interview on the camera there, she passes out. Now, another TikToker shared that she apparently had passed away. They found her death thing. She was 30 years old, and her name was registered there on the death roster. But the news is saying she's all right. But is that they're trying to get a replacement up there for her real quick or what? That's something somebody else pointed out. So you're going to have all this deception in the last days, and especially the scripture talks about sorcery. And if you look sorcery up, it's pharmakia in the Greek, okay? I don't even have to go to that one. Like, if you don't take my word enough for that, you can just Google that, all right? It's pharmakia. So we know drug sorcery is going on, and then we also have the mark of the beast, which I'm 110% sold that the mark in the forehead is mental agreement with the false Roman beast system, with its calendar, with its false worship, lockstep. So if you're worshiping on SAT day or SUN day, you're going to be in trouble soon. You need to get back to Father's Loom Soul Scriptural Counter. Check out worldslastchance.com. Check out soundloudcry.com. Check out the videos I've done on the Father's Counter. All right? Now, so we look at this where that no man might buy or sell. So we're coming into a time where that, what is it? If we don't have a vaccine card or the vaccine ban like I was talking about in Songbird maybe the other day, or if we don't have the immunity card saying, if we don't have some kind of identification or an RFID chip under a skin or whatever, we're going to be in a pickle where we can't do a lot of things. So like a subscriber mentioned, as long as you don't get into the point where, like they mentioned about that if you have to have an immunity card to even have internet access, which would be insanity, but nothing's off the table with me anymore. So if you look at that situation, then now that's really going to compound the problem. As long as we don't have the loss of the internet and the means to buy and sell like that, then you can work a lot of loopholes, especially now with the Bitcoin thing going on. That opens up another window. So there's a lot of variables that we still have in the toolbox, but we're going to have to get smart about it, because as you look in the scripture, if we go back over it, and you just look at this, we go of uncertain affinity to be able to or a possible, right? Then we go back over and read the scripture, and he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might of uncertainty buy or sell, right? Save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So it kind of leads you in a lot of thought process of where that there's a lot of uncertainty as to buying and selling during the mark of the beast, but it obviously looks like it's not impossible, right? All things are possible in believing in Yah, right? He can make all things possible. But, I'm not sitting here as a pastor trying to tell you these things. I'm just trying to sit here and tell you this as one believer to another that's trying to walk this way out for now over a decade, is that it seems to me the more and more I look at the end agenda, that we have two things running parallel, and it is starting to come parallel in our day and time right now that we're in, is that we're having people being hybridized, transhumanized, Nephilimized, right? And then the second thing is you're sifting off this portion of the population that will not comply with this nonsense madness to where that they're being excluded from being able to buy and sell in society. So, when we look at it in that context, the last thing I'll say as far as this particular thing goes is that by reading the word and looking at the Greek translation of it, instead of just looking at it in pure English, but looking at it in the Greek, and who knows, in the ancient Hebrew tongue, it would probably even be more clear on this. But if you look at it in that situation, that tells us that there is some loopholes that's probably going to be available to us. I mean, bartering has been around ever since the dawn of time. I think the two oldest professions of ancient time probably was bartering and prostitution. I'm not saying prostitution's okay. I'm just saying this is some of the oldest stuff that's been all the way to antiquity. So I'm just saying obviously bartering and the buying and selling, there's going to be ways around the system. But now they locked down the internet. See, the internet was a monumental tool here in this past year, how that I survived. You know, because I dealt directly with my clientele for off-grid construction. I dealt directly with getting materials if I needed to job sites. I dealt directly if I needed to get food. I dealt directly if I wanted to buy something like, you know, I made this, right? You go to Hobby Lobby, and then, of course, you print out on photo paper, flat earth under a firmament dome, right? And this is one of those holiday things where you put your own stuff in it for the tree. I just cut the tab off and glued it in. And I've got a video on here how I make one of these desktop flat earth models, right? But like they sell this on eBay too, right? So you go up on eBay and you buy one of these, right? Well, then it ships direct to your doorstep so you can still have one. So like there's all these loopholes. But we're going to have to really be critical thinking moving forward about how that we deal with stuff, because I know so many of you are getting frustrated when you go to town and they're like, you have to wear masks in order to buy and sell in here. And it's like, no, I'm not going to buy and sell here then. And it's going to get harder and harder and harder. And you know, 2021 I think is just going to be 2020 on steroids. Now to me, I've gotten socially numb with dealing with people anymore. I mean, I can just come home, pour me a glass of Di-Serona and just forget about the world. But I mean, I've just got numb with dealing with humanity anymore. But there's people out here that if you watch these videos, they're losing their mind because you ain't got a mask on in public. They're losing their mind that you won't support the vaccine. Let me be very crystal clear. I got my phone filming me right now, but I'll put the quote up on the screen right here, what I said on Facebook the other day, and I mean that with all my heart if you're reading that quote right now. Like, anybody tells me I need to take a vaccine, they don't need my life no more. I'm not taking it. I mean, you know, it's crazy how many people I know that our value systems, our thought process, I'm talking like people that are Wiccan compared to me that loves the Most High Yah. And even though I may not be perfect before Him, I'm trying my best and want to do better every day. But I mean, like, I'm talking like somebody that's really trying to strive to be righteous to somebody that's openly a pagan. That whole gambit. And all of us are like, we ain't having this. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever, you know, it comes to religious things, political things, so many different things, you always have people all across the board with just completely opposing views. But I don't know if you don't get it, but it's pretty disturbing when you have people that are completely godless, wicked pagans, all the way to people that follow the Torah and love the Most High Yah, that whole list of people, the whole graph, are against taking a vaccine. I think that's a serious, serious red flag run up a pole. Just saying. So anyway, guys, take a look at this in Revelation chapter 13 and go over and check it out in the Strong's Concordance and draw your own thoughts and opinions on that. Share it in the link or in the comment section below if you want to. If there's something, you know, I didn't say that you want to add to it. I want this channel from this point forward to be a think tank and for people to be able to network on here. And the live stream will be back up soon. As soon as Spectrum gets in, we're going to go live stream again. But, you know, I mean, like, YouTube's pretty much practically about demonetize me and everything else. I mean, like, I'm just here to help one another at this point, guys. I mean, I got my own life, my own business, make my own money. But this is my time given for the kingdom to help one another. And this is, I think, a real crucial thing that we need to consider moving forward, because that as times get tougher, we're going to have to get more creative about how we buy and sell. And we're going to have to be making certain that we're not doing anything that's going to violate our DNA, violate the Torah, violate the Most High Yah, violate just moral principle altogether. Like this vaccine, it's not acceptable. Worst one on a false calendar by the Roman Papal Church is not acceptable. To me, that's the mark of the beast in the forehead. I can just keep going and going. I mean, we're going to have to be very, very mindful of the things and how we deal with humanity and how we deal with life in general, because there's a lot of things that to get through the day in life in general anymore is an open opposition to the kingdom of the Most High Yah. So with that said, guys, as always, till we see you again here at 7 Terms Prepper Channel, I hope this information shared with you today sparks some thought. Hope Most High Yah, Baruch you, keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom.